Hello, dear and beloved students. It's your favorite science teacher, Mr. Heckenlively, coming to you on Monday, March 30th. Okay, first of all, let's talk a little bit about virus facts. So, a new study has been published. It found that 79 out of 80 patients who received the new medications recovered from coronavirus. The one person who didn't was reportedly an 86-year-old man who had multiple health problems. So that's really good news. Another thing I want to tell you about is lots of testing is being done now. So it's probably going to sound a little bit scary for the next couple days because we're getting so much information. But just because we're doing a lot of testing, that just means we're learning what's actually going on. So I don't want you to be scared over the next couple days as the numbers go up, as they really will. And I want to reinforce my message that I gave you last week, which is that human beings are still going to beat the snot out of this virus, okay? So this is going to be something that we get through, and we're really not going to worry about it. We'll look back on it. One of the things that I think is really good for people to do is try to think how you can make yourself better during this time. What things can you learn? What skills can you develop? It's unfortunate we're on this lockdown, but we are. So let's figure out how to make ourselves better, how to be good to our families, how to be good to our siblings. Really, it should be a time in which we come out of the lockdown better than we went into it. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the science review. Last week, I gave you a set of questions which were based on questions that you had in previous quizzes, and I published the answer key, but I just want to spend a little bit of time going over those answers, and let's see how you did. You're just going to check yourself, see how you did. It's not anything that I'm going to grade. Just, check yourself, see how well you're doing. Okay, so the first question was, what are two loops through which blood travels through the body? The answer is from the heart to the lungs, back to the heart, then back out to the body. So you remember that blood comes into the heart. It doesn't have much oxygen because it's given that oxygen to the body. Then it goes from the heart to the lungs, then it goes back to the heart, and then it goes back out to the body. Okay, next question. Name two systems that interact with the digestive system. So there are a lot of systems you can choose from. You can choose the muscular system, the nervous system, circulatory system, excretory system. Just want to make sure you understand the body working as a system. Next question was, name two systems that interact with the muscular system. Kind of same list, nervous system, digestive system, circulatory system, excretory system. Just want to make sure you're understanding and recalling that body systems work together. One system doesn't work in isolation. Okay, next question. What is homeostasis? Remember, that is the ability of a body to maintain stable internal conditions when the outside or environment or inside environment changes. So examples of that would be when it's hot, you sweat, and that sweat cools down your body. Or when you're cold, you shiver because that movement of your body, that involuntary movement of your muscles, keeps your body warm. Next question, what are levels of organization in the body? Cells, tissues, organs, organ systems. Next question, what is a stimulus? That's a change in the environment of an organism. So that can be either something external or something internal, like say you have a stomach ache. Something external, let's say a sibling throws something at you and you realize they're throwing something at you. That's a stimulus. Next question, what is a response? It's a behavior in response to an internal or external stimuli. So let's say you've got an upset stomach. Then that will generally cause you to grab your stomach, moan, all those sorts of things. Mom and dad, I don't feel well, my stomach hurts. Okay, that's a response. Other things could be something like you see a car coming down the road and you move out of the road. Okay, so stimulus response, real important ideas. What is a neuron? A neuron is a cell that transmits information. So remember, we went over various cell types. That's what a neuron is. Number 9, give an example of a stimulus response. For example, your sister flicks your ear and you flick her ear back. That would be stimulus response. And just a bit of warning, don't do this. You're probably stuck with her for a few more weeks. Question number 10, what causes a blind spot? Remember, we did the study of the eye, and we know that in the center of your eye, there are no receptors. And usually what happens is one eye will cover for the other eye. So when you have both eyes open, you don't know that you have a blind spot. But if you cover one eye and then look at something and move it in front of your face, what will happen is at some point, part of that will disappear and you'll realize, oh, gee, I do have a blind spot. Question number 11, what is an organelle found in plants but not in animals? Two main ones, chloroplast and cell walls. Question number 12, what is the function of the mitochondria? Remember, the mitochondria provides energy to the cell, so it's looked at as the power source of the cell. Question number 13, how are photosynthesis and cellular respiration linked? They are complementary processes necessary for life. That's really all I want you to remember, that they work in combination to help living things grow. 14, what is an organelle? It's a part of the cell dedicated to a very specific function. For example, mitochondria, energy production, chloroplasts, you know what they do. All right. Organelle actually means small organ, so from the Latin, so be aware of that. 15, why do some people consider viruses to be non-living? Because viruses cannot reproduce on their own, and to perform their functions, they need a living cell. So many people think that they're parasites or parasite-like, and it's really an open question. 16, what does a cell membrane do? A cell membrane allows certain molecules into the cell and keeps out other molecules. 17, what does a chloroplast do? A chloroplast takes energy from the sun and turns it into food, primarily sugar. So be aware of that. Question number 18, what is osmosis? It is the flow of water across a cell membrane. Question number 19, what color are chloroplasts? Now you remember when we looked at those under the microscope, you saw that they were green. That's because they're filled with chlorophyll. That allows them to convert the sun's energy into food. And last question, where do diatoms live? They live in water. So remember, that was one of the first things that scientists discovered when they started using a microscope, is that general water, pond water, lake water, is filled with living things. The majority of those living things are called diatoms. Okay, so where do we go from here? So what I've done is I've got a second set of questions that I have put in your School Loop locker and on Google Classroom. So I just want you to spend a couple days going over those, reviewing those. Remember, if you don't know the answers, that's fine. Just do the best you can. I really think that this lockdown phase is an opportunity for all of us to become more self-reliant. So hopefully that is something that you are working on, and you're becoming self-reliant, trying to find out answers when you can't find them. So remember, you can communicate with me on School Loop or through Google Classroom. I am learning on Google Classroom how to respond to comments, and I've been responding to some of those. Maybe I haven't gotten to all of you. I'm really good on School Loop. What I try to do is every couple hours I'm going on School Loop and answering all the questions that are there. So probably 3-4 times a day I'm checking School Loop. So hopefully that gives you some kind of confidence and allows you to feel connected. And we're really still up in the air about what's going to go on with the school year. I am hearing things that the district is considering just doing pass fail for this last semester, and I'd be absolutely fine with that. Although I think that you guys have done a really great job with your work in the first half of the semester, and my preference would be to to give you the grades that you've earned rather than just a pass fail. But the overwhelming message we're getting from the district is don't stress out. Relax. We're going to get through this. Nobody's going to get punished for what can or cannot be done. So, use this time, make yourself better. And I really hope that we'll be seeing each other soon. And there you have it. That's all I know, coming to you on a Monday morning. All right, have a great day.